Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're digging into one of America's most chilling and famous hauntings. It's a case so intense that the paranormal investigators from The Conjuring called it the most terrifying thing they'd ever seen. So what really went down at 1112 Ocean Avenue?
Yeah, you heard that right. The investigators, Ed and Lorraine Warren, went on record saying the Amityville case was 10 times more horrifying than the haunting that became the Conjuring movies. So what could possibly be worse than that?
Our story begins here, at 112 Ocean Avenue. It's a beautiful big house. Looks like the perfect family home. And for a long time, it was. It was filled with happy memories. Until one awful night in 1974, when everything changed forever.
To really get a grip on the haunting, we have to start with the tragedy that many believe stained this house from the very beginning. You could call it the original sin of Amityville.
Okay, so picture this. It's the dead of night, November 13th, 1974. The eldest son, Butch DeFeo, picks up a rifle and he goes from room to room systematically shooting his entire family while they were asleep in their beds. His parents, his two brothers, and his two sisters, all of them just gone.
Now here's where it gets even weirder. When Butch confessed to the police, his explanation was just chilling. He claimed he heard voices in the house telling him to do it. The court, of course, didn't buy it. They rejected his insanity plea, and he got life in prison. But that question, what he heard in that house, that part of the story never really went away.
Fast forward about a year. The house, with its horrible history, goes on the market for a shockingly low price. A new family, the Lutzes, knew what happened there but thought, hey, it's our dream home. They had no idea they were walking straight into a nightmare that would last exactly 28 days.
And this wasn't some slow burn haunting that took weeks to build up. No. From the very moment they moved in, the Lutz family knew something was deeply, deeply wrong.
For starters, there was this unnatural, bone-deep cold that just clung to the rooms. No matter how high they cranked the heat, it wouldn't go away. And then there was this smell, this awful, foul odor that seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere all at once.
So a week goes by, and that creepy feeling in the house starts to ramp up into something way more personal and a whole lot more terrifying. The presence started focusing on the kids. Their youngest daughter, Missy, starts talking about her new, invisible friend, Jody. Their son, Daniel, sees a terrifying figure in the bathroom that scares him senseless, and the house itself seemed to come alive. Doors would slam on their own, and the father, George, started having these violent, awful nightmares.
By the time they hit day 20, the family was just breaking down. This wasn't just a few spooky things happening anymore. It felt like a non-stop psychological attack, making them all feel like they were going crazy.
They said it felt like they were never alone, like the house was just jam-packed with people they couldn't see. And things got worse and worse. Objects would fly off shelves, food would just randomly spoil, and this is the really disturbing part. They said bloodstains would just appear on the walls and then vanish.
And then came night 28, their last night. Whatever was in that house, it unleashed everything it had. It was an ordeal so terrifying it pushed them right over the edge.
And that was it. In the middle of the night, they just ran. They left everything. Their furniture, their clothes, all their money and valuables. They grabbed their kids, jumped in their car, and just drove, desperate to get away from that house. So, a family flees their home in terror. Naturally, that story makes headlines. And it caught the attention of the most famous paranormal investigators on the planet, Ed and Lorraine Warren. They were called in to figure out, is this a hoax or is this for real?
Now, at first, even the Warrens were skeptical. They thought maybe the Lutzes just made the whole thing up for a quick buck. But after they actually went in and investigated the house, their skepticism turned into absolute horror. They came to the conclusion that the house was home to a powerful demonic force tied directly to the DeFeo murders.
So, as part of their investigation, the Warrens team set up cameras all over the house, just hoping to catch something on film. Well, one of those cameras captured an image that has since become one of the most famous and most debated photos in paranormal history. This photo, taken when the house was supposedly completely empty, seems to show a little boy with these creepy glowing eyes just peeking out of a doorway. Many people, including the Warrens, believe that this is the ghost of John Matthew DeFeo, one of the murdered children, his spirit still trapped in that house.
After their investigation, the Warrens basically said,
This house should be left empty. No one should ever live here again. But, well, that warning wasn't taken seriously, and what happened next pretty much proves that the evil in Amityville wasn't done yet. Yep, a few years later, another family decided to move in. They lasted even less time than the Lutzes. They fled after just 15 days, reporting the exact same kind of terrifying things: voices, phantom noises, and being tormented by the spirit of a little girl. Now, you would think a house with this kind of history would be impossible to sell, right? Well, wrong. The house at 112 Ocean Avenue recently sold for over $1.4 million. But here's the thing. The new owners are a total mystery. They refuse all interviews, leaving everyone to wonder what, if anything, they've experienced inside those walls. And really, the Amityville story leaves us with this one terrifying question. Can a place be so soaked in tragedy that it's just permanently evil? You can change the paint, you can change the owners, but can you ever really get rid of the ghosts? Or is that same dark energy that drove one family to murder and another to flee for their lives just sitting there, waiting for the next person to turn the key?